Greetings, this is Kevin Jefferson, founder of the Forex Fam and FollowMyTrades.com. Guys, I just want to share some information with you about kind of how I look at the charts and how I assess certain trades to take and the risks to take in different time frames as it relates to the market. So I'm looking at the AUDCAD. I had two sell trades on this over the course of the last couple of weeks, and they both played out in profit. There was one today that actually was deeply in profit, and then it pulled back to a fraction of it, but we got out still in profit because the market reversed on us, which is fine. Actually, if I had honored the time-based expiration that I use for most of my trades, I would have gotten out deeper in the money, but I'm not as concerned because I had a deeper target, and so there were some things that allowed me from a technical standpoint to stay in that trade. Now, well, with that being said, I always talk about the market maker's move, right? And so the market maker's move has a few elements to it. It's similar to a basketball player that has a signature move or a crossover or a certain move that fakes you out on their way to the basket to score. And so what that move looks like is there's normally an anchor that's established with a pullback, and then there'll be a move in the either the trend's direction or whatever direction the market's moving. There'll be a move, and then there'll be a pullback and a move in the opposite direction. So you have the anchor, and then you've got at least two fake outs. So you've got an anchor, a fake out, and then another fake out, and then it normally pulls back into consolidation, and then it will make another move after that. So it will either make another move to a higher level, and give you an opportunity to take a trend trade based on a set of conditions, or it will go up and then come back equidistant in the opposite direction and knock out stops again until it gives you a trend trade setup. So the key to it is you can recognize the fake outs, but the fake out isn't complete until you have the market basically get knocked out, stop hunts on each side of the anchor right here. So at this point, I'm expecting, now this is the monthly, so I'm not so concerned about this obviously, but I'm thinking that this will at some point come back down here. So now it's on the second push higher. Actually, this is the third push because it was a slight move higher. So my expectation is that ultimately this trade will come back down into this area. At a minimum, it'll come back down here, reset, and then give us another trade setup at some point. It could actually come all the way back down here into this level, right where the anchor was, the first anchor or the pullback, and give a reset down there as well. So because the market actually hasn't come back and reset, so it didn't anchor down here, it came up here and then just keep going, but it hasn't come back and confused the grander market. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back down here, but that's several months away, so we won't worry about that so much. But let's just go down to lower time frames, because you'll see the same thing playing out. It just will play out. It will look a little different because the details obviously get greater as you go down in time frames. So let's just look at this and try to establish if we can see what's going on or what happened here. So we had this push up into this level 1 long right here. So that's a minor pullback. And then we had another push, and then we moved on up here. And in most cases, you would expect this to pop back down here and drop, but it didn't. It continued trending upwards. So that means there was, a strong uptrend on this market, and it's not ready to come back down here yet. That gives me a good indication that what's setting up on the monthly is probably true, because these moves are so large and significant on the lower time frame that is clearly sketching out something for the higher time frame. But so we went up here into this area. We see this the market push up here, and it anchors itself with a pullback. It has a move higher, comes back down into what I call the kill zone, the battle zone, and then it drops lower. Now it comes back up into this area right here, but it doesn't give you any indication. It doesn't give you any type of indicator that tells you should buy this. It just gives you an indication that it's not done clarifying what direction it wants to move. And so as I see these two small stops, the stop high, the stop low, I'm on alert for a trade setup. Now sometimes it will give you another push in the fake direction and then come back. And so that's what happened here. You had the stop high, stop low, the two fake outs. So you had the anchor, fake high, fake low, back down lower here, and still there's no trade setup. There's no trend trade setup based on what you see here. And so it comes back up into the battle zone again, back into the kill zone. And so now you're expecting it to give you the true trend direction. And I see as it gets up into this area, it gives us an opportunity right here to get into the trade long. We take it long, goes up again, and then now it's down into a pullback from a level 1 short right here. So it looks like the same thing is about to happen on the weekly that we were just experiencing down here on this previous level right here. So we had the anchor, the pullback, the move high, the move low, and then the expectation, which is why I took a buy trade here on the lower time frame, is that it will move back up into this kill zone right here and then establish what direction it wants to go. Now it may go back up here and push higher and then come back down. It may push higher, come back, give us an indication of continuing long, or it may just come back up here and push down one more level, which actually makes more sense because these EMAs are beneath, so that acts as a support, these previous average prices. And so I would expect it to move up into this area, knock out my take profit, and then come back down and drop into these EMAs, and then come back into consolidation again in the kill zone, and then give us an uptrend trade. Now this is the weekly, so this could take time. So I'm betting on the long trade right now based on how long it took for my sell trade to play out. And it was a pretty significant, technically sound sell trade, which gives me good evidence that it probably wants to go long now. And so going down to the daily, you see the same thing. You're seeing the same patterns and the same activity, but it's just more granular. So as we come down here, it kind of gives you a better indication of what I was saying about resetting and eclipsing previous levels, but particularly the minor levels. So as this pushes out up into this area, out of all of this congestion right here, and establishes a level 1 long right here, it pushes up, gives you four minor pullbacks, and then each of these are, they're all significant, so you can't take anything away from. So this one actually is less significant because it's still eclipsed by this left side over here. So I would say this is probably where the most significant aspect is of the new push in the long direction. So let's say this pushes up here into this area, push 2, 3, 4, and then so now it's pushed high and it comes back into the kill zone, consolidates, pushes down here into this area. Now, mind you, I'm always looking at the all of the minor pullbacks, particularly because most cases they're going to be eclipsed and the market's going to reset at them. So now if you come over here and look, just as a quick side note, you see the market came all the way back down. It eclipsed all of these previous minor pullbacks and actually sat on top of this one. So it gives us, a good indication and clarification that what we see is correct. So you have these pushes, this fake high comes back into the kill zone, fakes low down here off of this highest anchor, and then it pushes higher. Now for me, I would have maybe taken this trade, but then I would have been suspicious once it stalled out because it didn't actually give us a deeper low here. And so in most cases, when the market makers are faking you out, they're going to fake you out beyond all of those levels that it passed and getting to the point where it wanted to anchor. And the reason is there are people who took positions and have beliefs that their trades are correct. And so if they come back and they fake you out in the opposite direction, if you're in a buy trade and then the market's going higher, you may have a stop loss that moves up, and so you get stopped at a lower lower profit, but you stop in profit. But then if you see this close down here lower, what you would do is set up to try to take a sell trade and then get knocked out and lose the little profit that you made and be frustrated. And so that's what they do. They manipulate the psychology of the trader based on the data that they see. So they give you information. It's almost like giving you breadcrumbs and they're leading you to where they want you to go. So they give you breadcrumbs and they lead you down this path, and then once they finally get you, they trap you and then they take your money. And so you had this push up, this fake high, fake low. It moves back up into this area. It does give us a buy trade, but it doesn't sustain. I can see based on my time-based expiration parameters that it would have pulled back and I would have probably gotten out of a slight profit or maybe a slight loss or break even, but I see it coming back into this area. So now what happens is it will just do that push one more time. So it pushes higher again, and then it comes back and pushes basically equidistance on each side of this kill zone right here, from up here to down here. And it pushes down into this area. So now people are really confused because they're like, man, the market went up, then the market started dropping down. And so what I see here is there's a possibility for this to continue short, which actually aligns with what I was seeing when I was in a sell trade. But we don't know, it may actually turn around and continue up because the EMAs, the higher time frame EMAs, are beneath it. So this is where you have a little bit of uncertainty and you have to make a higher probability decision based on the information that they give you. So it's pushing down here. This could be just a pullback before a continuation shorter, but based on the size and the depth of this fake out high and the fake out low, it looks equidistant as it relates to this kill zone right here. So I would expect it to come back up into this consolidation and then give us a indication of what direction it wants to continue in. So now it's the possibility for it to drop and take out these EMAs before it comes back up, but I'm really expectant that before it does all of that, that it will come up here. So that's the daily, and so let's say that it does come back up into this area. What it would do is give you another indication of the trend direction, which if it gets up here, chances are it'll probably go long, but you have to wait for that information. So when people talk about being patient, it's not about just being patient for the market to give you a buy or sell signal in the way of a trend change, but you have to be patient for all the factors to start to come together to give you a clearer picture of what the highest certainty or the higher probability trade setup is. So it's always high probability because there's a probability and a possibility that it could go against you as well. And so you want to give yourself the best information that you can. And the only thing that will give you that in a lot of cases is just time watching, observing, waiting on the market to actually create what it needs to create to give you the opportunity to get in and out. So let's go down to the 4 hour. Same thing here. So we had the this move down, this minor pullback, down, a little bit deeper pullback, down, minor pullback, and anchor down, and then it pulls back. And so this is now, I consider the kill zone, right up here all the way to down here. And so you see the market, it anchors right down here and it pulls all the way back up above this previous minor pullback. And so that's the fake out low and the fake out high. Now what it did was it came back into the kill zone and then it gave us a sell trade indication. You can take it early here based on what I see, but the safest trade is to actually let it move through the zone and give you the setup that it wants. And so it gave that setup down in this area, and then it continued to confirm it as it moved back down and closed below here. And so at that point you could have taken it short, and that's where I was in it actually up here and got down to this point before it turned around. But as I look at it, we had, let's say the safest trade setup would have been right here, 1 2 3 4 5. So I was actually at the point to where time wise I could have gotten out of this trade and been in deep profit, but the reason I didn't is because it was still being shielded by these EMAs. The EMAs were above the candlesticks and it had just dropped below the 800. So there's a good chance that it was going to continue up that way, and it may still at some point, but I just wanted to get out and conserve the profits that I had. So what happens down here is it anchors, pulls high, it anchors here, continues lower, actually doesn't give you a fake out, not on this level, it may be one on the lower time frame. So just because you don't see a fake out on the time frame you're watching doesn't mean that there isn't one on the lower time frame. In most cases it is. So you have the anchor here, the extension lower. I don't see the high move yet, so I'm looking for that. And so we had this extension down here, and then it comes back, breaks through the kill zone and sets a high. Now it's pumping higher, which means this fake out down here is not very deep. So it could, now see this wick right here, so that could have been the indication that it tried to move into there, but momentum that it had was too strong to stay there. And that's neat, and that's fine, and that's wonderful, and I'm hopeful that that's the case. But in all indications, there's nothing in this range right here that says that this can't come back down here and try to knock this bottom out again. And if it does, we'll take the trade and we'll take it accordingly. I'm not afraid of getting knocked out. I'm not afraid of changing directions manually. So, but what the true indication looks like, these EMAs are spread out, so price needs to reconsolidate. You have this move higher. I'm expecting it to go maybe one level higher, and then make the decision if it's going to actually push back down into this level. It may be establishing a level higher right now in a new zone, but right now this I don't feel like it was really a significant push to the downside, but there's a lot of indication that it wanted to go up. So we'll just allow that to be, and that's where we took our buy trade. That's the 4 hour. On the 1 hour, we've got the same situations, just more granular, and you can see as it's pushed up, it anchored, moved higher, came back down into the kill zone, moving higher again, and it still hasn't come down and actually broken below and closed down here. So my stop loss is kind of predicated upon the market coming back and maybe knocking us out, actually coming back down here and faking low and then coming back up. These EMAs are starting to spread out, so it's an opportunity for that to be the case. But I'm banking on that this will like to go up here first before it does anything else, which would be great. And that means it's operating off of the beat of the higher time frames as opposed to the 1 hour, which is likely the case. And then you see the same thing on the 15-minute. You see it goes up, it anchors with this minor pullback, comes up, comes down, knocks out both the highs and the lows right through the kill zone, then comes back up here and sets up and gives you a trade opportunity. Does it again up in this area, two pushes with minor pullbacks. The third, anchor high, anchor low, anchor high again. So this is an indication where you get that little small anchor, but it's still in the kill zone. It didn't come down here and fake out this bottom part. So it faked high here and then it faked out down low. And so once this does this, you have to wait because it may actually turn around on you. So it gives you an indication that it's trying to do that. So it drops here, gives you kind of a weak indication that it wants to sell. Then it comes back and lets you know again that it truly does want you to sell this. And so the safe play is getting in right here. But as you can see, we didn't have this history, so this trade would have gone against you if you got in down to this point, which means that the market is not looking to actually go short at this point, which is fine. So when you get knocked out of a trade, it's perfectly okay as long as you take information away from it so that you can build your next trade setup on it. And this goes to the point that I was making earlier on Instagram. I was saying that's why it's very important for you to trade whatever pairs you jump on, and that's why you do your analysis. You pick the pairs that you're going to trade for the week. Really stay with those pairs, because once you started with them, you kind of get in rhythm and in sync with them, and that gives you a better probability of being successful with it. So it moved up into this area, and now I feel like it's completed the fake out lower, and then it's moved back up to this higher level. Doesn't mean it won't come back down here one more time. These EMAs are somewhat spread out. Could come back down here one more time and then move back up north and give us a buy trade. So I'm hopeful that it continues up. I didn't really put a lot of oomph on it. Okay, so if it does come down, I'll be safe. I thought that was my stop loss. So yeah, if it comes down, that was something else I marked. And so, to show you how uncanny this is, I had marked this red line on the 1 minute chart because I saw these pushes and these pullbacks and that they hadn't been eclipsed yet. And so the market had gotten up here, and it was actually right around this area, and I wasn't sure if it was going to continue high or if it was going to drop low. And so I went ahead and marked this area to say this is a possible area that the market could pull back to before it decided. And lo and behold, several minutes later, it actually dropped right down here. I watched it on and off, and watched it come down, bounce off this level, and then start to move back up. And then you have support of these EMAs, which is a good indication that it wants to go long for a little bit. Now, the way that this is swinging, it gives me, some pause that it could drop down one more time and then go up. But mindful, this is, mind you, this is the 1 minute chart, so I'm not as concerned about it here. So that's what I look at. I'm looking at the market makers move in addition to the PPC 13 method that I use to trade, because the method is the framework of understanding where to enter trades, how to manage them, how to take risk. But the market makers patterns and their fake out, that's what you want to look at to give you the best chance of taking fewer trades and higher probability setups. So hey, if you're not a member of the Forex Fam, become a member of the Forex Fam. If you are a member of the Forex Fam, we've got Monday Day School started on Mondays at noon Central now. It's noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, as opposed to the evening now, and they're still recorded, and they'll be in the private Facebook group, the private chat group, and for the lifetime members, it'll be in the members section of the lifetime membership. So if you have any questions, hit me up, get on my calendar, have a phone visit. If you're not a client or not a student or a member of the Forex Fam, become a member. Let us adopt you. Let us bring you in and help you create the income and the life that you want. Until next time, I'll talk to you soon, and happy trading.